of the back wall. Needs to be the back wall of the space. Then I run the picture plane along the back wall of the space and floor plane. And then I come from the center. Typically, it's easier if I do it off of the center. Come straight down to create a station point. Now, your station point does not have to be in the room. You want to pull it back far enough that you're actually going to get a decent view. And again, when you're going back to that 30-degree angle, you know, this, I wouldn't, you know, I'd make sure that I could at least get everything that I want to see in that angle. Then I come down here to the ground line or the floor line, and that's my ground line, just like in a 2-point. And then again, I'll measure up, and I'll come up 5.5 feet, and I'll make the horizon line.
So, why didn't you turn your floor plan to 45 degrees?
Because this is a 1-point.
Oh, well, you did that originally.
No, that's a 2-point. That's a 2-point. Yeah, actually, if you were to turn your floor plan to the 45 degree in a 1-point, you'd wind up with a 2-point, but it'd be a nightmare to construct. Now, in a 1-point, your vanishing point is just straight below your station point on the horizon line. Unlike a 2-point where we have to construct the vanishing point as a mathematical construction or a geometric construction, here the vanishing point is just straight below the horizon line, or just straight below the station point on the horizon line. Now, with a 1-point, the entire elevation is at true height. So all of the elevation, because the entire elevation sits on the picture plane. Same theory is involved here that's involved in the 2-point. Any object on the picture plane is drawn at its actual size. Because the picture plane is flat to the back wall, the whole back wall is at true height. Does that make sense to everybody? So now, to get the sides of the room, that's actually really easy. I don't even have to do any projections here. I can just come from the vanishing point through the corner of the space and there is my roof. I've got this little peak here in the middle. So you see already I've got a large chunk of it done right there. Now, to get these things all located, I'm going to have some windows here on the side, and I'm going to have some columns on the side. Those are going to have to be projected. So just like with the 1-point or 2-point, I come from my station point up through my corner. From my station point up through the corner, from the station point up through the corner. And then I'll drop down 3 perpendiculars from those points. Then I come from my vanishing point, get that connected up, from my vanishing point through, because now even though those columns are not on this back wall, I'm going to draw them in elevation here. That's why you're not showing your elevation drawings here, because it's going to have more on it than maybe actually would be on the rear wall of the space, if that makes sense. Sort of like you take the whole space and smush it up against the back wall. It's like a splattered fly or something. So it comes from the vanishing point through the true height to here. From the vanishing point through the true height to this. That gives me the top and the bottom of that side of that column. Now, because this space is parallel to the picture plane, I just come straight across top and bottom. There is no, these lines don't recede to a vanishing point. If it is, the only time that something goes to a vanishing point in a one-point perspective, if it is not parallel to the picture plane. If it's perpendicular to the picture plane, it goes to the vanishing point. If it is not perpendicular to the picture plane, let's say, just for some reason, let's say I have a little low wall here at a 45-degree angle. That is not perpendicular to the picture plane, nor is it parallel to the picture plane. So in objects that are parallel to the picture plane, they're straight horizontal. Perpendicular, they go to the vanishing point. That sort of an object is the weird one. So let me draw that just really quickly in elevation. Let's say it's just a little half-wall object. So come here, mark the other side of it, and I'll make it 3 foot tall. So there is that object in elevation on the back wall. Okay? So now, just like before, up from the picture plane through the corner of both ends. And then I bring down my perpendiculars. Okay? Then I come from the vanishing point through the corner here, and because this is closer, it's actually further away a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. Come from the vanishing point through the bottom here, and mark that point, and then through this point here, and mark that point. So that gives me this edge here. Then from the vanishing point through this corner, and from the vanishing point, and then come down far enough, through this corner here, and you see, even though those lines don't really look that different, you see the dramatic difference that makes. And then I'd have to connect those two lines like that and like that. So there's that little half wall, and then I'd add in maybe a little bit of thickness to the top of it. Baking that in like that. Does that make sense to everybody? Do you see how I did that? Because that's at an angle to the picture plane. I have to construct this side and this side. So that's all there really is to one-point perspectives. They're very, very easy to construct.
What if your one-point perspective, I know because my space has a curve, like the walls curves.
Same thing here. Let me. Can you grab a circle template? Actually, never mind. I got it here. Let me. I'll. Let's see here. Let's see, there's another little curved linear half wall right there. So I'll draw that again in elevation here. So there's a curvilinear half wall. So you guys, and actually thank you for bringing that up. So on something like this, I need to roughly approximate even spacing on the object. It's easier if you do it with even spacing. Okay? Then just like we did here, it's the same exact principle. I come up from the station point through each individual point. There we go. And then I bring down all of my perpendiculars. I'm going a little flat, so it's not necessarily accurate. Now, here is the critical point. On this object in elevation, I have to drop those points down so that I know where the top and bottom of those points are here in elevation. You see how I'm doing that? So there are my top this is the top there, and bottom points. There. So then, just like before, it's from the vanishing point through the true height point here, mark that point. Next line over, mark that point. I think I'm missing one. This. That one. From the vanishing point. Then I'm getting